Welcome, eCom Logistics Nation. We're thrilled to be coming to you live from the heart of Atlanta at Modex 2024, right here at the Georgia World Congress Center. A shout out to our sponsor, G&P Construction, your go-to provider for comprehensive turnkey material handling and solutions in both logistics and commercial needs. We are truly grateful for the support.
Brands are trying to find somebody who can do all in together for them, right? But it's difficult to find. As I said, 3PLs have invested a lot of amount and energy and money and resource to fine-tune, I'm the best wholesaler, I'm the best retailer for flow, I'm the best e-commerce flow. And that is where Osa solves the problem for the brand. They come to us, we encapsulate the complexity based on what is their requirement from the inventory and order profile. We automatically plan the inventory management from hosting which facility, distributing based on the cost optimization. We distribute the order based on the order. We know exactly which facility is the right facility to fulfill an order. If it's a bulk, go to the bulk facility. If it's e-commerce, get to the e-commerce facility. So we solve that problem for the brand across 3PLs.
Welcome, eCom Logistics Nation. We are here at Modex with our friend Padhu from Osa Commerce. Padhu, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dan. Very happy to be here with you and Inar.
Our pleasure.
I'm actually really excited to have him on. We have been talking about it for a while.
Yes.
I think people should be ready to get some knowledge bomb right here. Not probably, one of the smartest human beings that I know that knows this space from a systems standpoint and how systems and operations kind of combine. He is the masterclass in our space when it comes to WMS. And I've had the pleasure of working with him in the past, and I've had the pleasure of interacting, looking at the solution. And I think it's going to be an amazing solution in the market, what he is about to talk about. So really looking forward to this, brother.
Thank you, Ninath.
Yeah.
And definitely I can tell you that probably I'm bringing the average down here in the panel here.
Oh, don't go
brother,
there. Don't go there.
I know you do that. And every time you say that, like you make me feel like if it's coming from Padhu, like it's got to be really meaningful. But genuinely, your knowledge and expertise, I mean, we are all trying to aspire to get there. So this is going to be a phenomenal episode. I'm really looking forward to it.
Maybe as a way of getting started, Padhu, share with the audience a little bit about your experience and your journey in the supply chain technology space.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Padhu Raman, co-founder and CEO at Osa Commerce. Been in the supply chain, e-commerce for almost 25 years now. I started my career in a manufacturing distribution environment back in Bosch, India, after I graduated from my engineering degree in mechanical. So always supply chain was somewhat, and that was a new knowledge to me. That was where I learned really what supply chain, distribution, how sales and distribution works, and all the aspect of it. Although I started on the technology side, so that really motivated at the Bosch when I was part of the manufacturing. That led to me to join Manhattan Associates. So I spent...
That was in India?
I joined Manhattan Associates US because Manhattan US came to India to actually recruiting.
Okay.
So I got an opportunity to join them. So I've been with them, was with them for almost 16 and a half years. So that journey actually taught me more about supply chain, e-commerce, wholesale, distribution. I mean, that's the best place to learn anything in supply chain.
Absolutely.
And not only that, Manhattan presses on three things. One is definitely looking at a people perspective, because people is all about in technology and operations. Looking at process, how do we deploy process in the most efficient way? And then using the good platform. And Manhattan is the best platform, right? So that gave me a good aspect of it. And then I switched to actually, instead of implementing the system, I got an opportunity to actually run an operations and be consumer of the system as an implementee. So that was a completely different experience. I thought I should take it.
Mm-hmm.
Where I actually built a complete 3PL business and a 4PL business from ground up, developed our own technology, which included technology from an e-commerce perspective where we onboarded brands, almost 150 plus, to connect to all the different demand channels. Build a facility with robotics. We deployed a goods-to-person system, person-to-goods system. And finally, we were able to, when we completed almost entire facility, we were shipping 45,000 units from that building. Now, that gave me a complete operational experience. It was a completely different.
Crash
I can
course.
tell you, crash
Yes.
course.
And was it humbling?
It was more than that.
Like, I mean, systems folks, and I think it goes both ways, Padhu, right? Like, so there is systems folks on one side, right? Like, and I know what you did previously, which was like sit in a room full of operators, engineers, and say, let me help you design the system to work the way operations needs to do. And sometimes, as you do that activity, you kind of get frustrated to say, why this, why that? And again, it's another universe. And someone that crosses from this side to another, because it also works the other way, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are an operations person, you're like, those systems guys, like they just don't get it, right? And when they come to our side, they actually understand, where the nuance happens to be and why we do what we do in certain cases. So I would assume like when you flipped over, and this is not just flip it over, go be like a general manager of a facility. It's actually building a business. I got to say, like, I really want to learn how did that go?
See, there are two aspects to it, right? It's always, when you look from a coach perspective, you think that players need to follow and learn. And the players think it's easy to be a coach. It's always the
Yes.
perspective, right?
Yeah.
So when you do the operations, run a building, manage labor, manage team members, in the peak of COVID, I can tell you a lot of lessons that can be learned out of that, right? When you commit to a customer in the morning saying that we will ship 45,000 units by end of the day, and you come back and find out you only have almost 1/3 of the people, and of 1/3 of the people almost half leave after the lunch break because the COVID was so rapid and things
Yes.
change. Then you stop the facility to sanitize and then rebuild again the metrics. And the next day morning, when you're answering customers, how much did you promise? How much did you ship? Now you talking about real operational
Yes.
challenges, right? It's not about system, but one thing that kept me going is, again, going back to the fundamentals. Try to focus on the people, look at the processes that you have developed, and believe in the systems that you have, and then continuously work on it, right? And we were able to overcome that and then really scale up. Right?
Yeah.
Then that journey from there led to believe that our technology that we have developed and all the benefits that we're giving to a set of customers could be taken to a broader set of customers and broader ecosystem. So that's the reason we said, okay, there is a value in the technology. The customers actually pushed us to give the technology to them as a SaaS solution as well. So that motivation of that, we divested that fulfillment center, that entire 3PL, 4PL business. And then effective January of 2023, we started the journey of a complete SaaS provider. One key differentiator is we provide a full end-to-end technology stack from a supply chain perspective in a more ecosystem model. And that's where we are currently developing and serving customers.
I mean, give us a little bit more, right? Like, what's that ecosystem model? So,
primarily,
again, we are not trying to sell your solution, but just from an education perspective, like, what is that end-to-end? Like, how do you define end-to-end? And who would be the ideal person, customer, brand, 3PL that would be looking at you?
Perfectly, right? So, if what we claim ourselves definitely as a trailblazer software company in this regard, right? So what we primarily do is we enable whether logistics providers like 3PL or 4PL who are serving the retailers or brands, enable them to be tech-enabled first, right? We enable them because most of them, think about small, medium entities or 3PLs who are traditionally done warehousing, want to move to e-commerce because their customers are driving them.
We know a lot of those, yes.
They are challenged with technology, right? We enable a single source of onboard their customers. We enable their customers, which are retailers and brands, to connect to all the demand channels. It could be their own web store. It could be a different marketplace. It could be like Amazon, Walmart, eBay, or any of the marketplaces. We try to connect to the 3PL's fulfillment centers. They may have more than one fulfillment center, provide an order management, distributed order management, network planning systems, provide warehouse management within that 3PL to enhance them from a traditional warehousing to an e-commerce warehousing, both omni-channel warehousing. And then the last mile to trace the product to the end customer. And then connect the returns as well from a e-commerce perspective. Think about a full circle solution. One, Think about the same problem from a retailer or brand's perspective. They are dealing today with multiple different 3PLs, multiple different 3PL ecosystem. Say if I am a small, medium brand, say if I'm $1 million or $2 million in revenue, I'm trying to go, they may get into one ecosystem where they offer one fulfillment services and say a simple demand channel connectivity. But once they grow, they want to be closer to the customer, right?
Yep.
They want to be closer to customer throughout. And you cannot just keep increasing warehouse space, or you cannot connect to all the entities.
Absolutely, yeah.
You need a technology to connect.
Absolutely.
So they need a technology outside of that entity, right? So we solve the retailers and brands problem also, where enabling them to connect to different 3PL providers or logistics providers, driving better, smarter decisions, focusing on 3 aspects: continuously building efficiency,
Right.
mitigating the risk, and resilience, right? And how well the disruption happens, how well you can completely feed it, right? So it's a circular system. Think about a circular ecosystem. You can get in anywhere, right? You are a 3PL.
So you're talking modularity here, though, right?
Modularity,
Like
yes,
it's not. We are not talking about like you gotta use my WMS, my OMS, my TMS capabilities, my XYZ everything integration. You got your own integration suite? No problem. We can connect rest.
Correct.
Right.
So think about a very good example would be as, at least from my knowledge perspective, think about Apple. You have Apple as an operating system. The hardware is there. You can iOS, you can deploy on many other devices. iPhone is one, iPad, different devices. Similarly, our solution can be deployed on any other different cloud platform, Amazon, Google, any other place.
Right.
We provided like a supply chain operating system.
Right.
You have an Apple applications from Apple. You can make a call through Apple's phone, or you can deploy WhatsApp and make a call, or you can deploy Skype, you can deploy Teams and make a call. And all these ecosystems reside in the same thing. And all these resources use the same device of camera or the same mic, right? But the applications are different. Think about OSA as an operating system that runs on any cloud platform. We provide our own warehouse management, own order management, own demand channel connectivity, and own integration platform. But if there is another WMS we need to connect to because the 3PL is already connecting, we will connect. Because in supply chain, there are 2 biggest problems that is still existing and has been existing over a period of time. As you are implementers, you will understand, appreciate that. One is integration.
Yes.
Second is change management, right? So we solve those 2 problems by one. With integration management, we provide pre-integrated solutions in the ecosystem. We have 440 plus integrations, whether it's a demand channel, whether it's a fulfillment, or whether it's an order orchestration or carrier integration. We have pre-integrations. That reduces what it used to take 8 months, 12 months to integrate to now 4 to 6 weeks, right? The second is the change management. We try to mitigate the risk by basically connecting with existing solutions and deploy a crawl, walk, run approach. So slowly, if you like us WMS, you can deploy WMS over a period of time, but still connect and manage and execute your warehouse, right? So those are the aspects that system provides out of the box and solutions to the market.
I think that's a super clear way to
articulate
describe it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right?
Is and maybe just to make sure I'm understanding it well enough, could your customer be a brand that, so you have an ICP or a customer that's maybe looking for this type of platform that then they can connect with various 3PLs, and then your other ICP is the 3PL that's utilizing the platform. So you're actually coming, and I've not heard of a company doing this yet, where you're actually coming from both, solving for both sides of the equation.
Exactly.
Think about the biggest white space that is open in the market is primarily seamless connectivity, because there are a lot of fragmented solutions. As you said, I can put a solution within a retail network.
Makes sense.
Right? Walmart will have different solutions. I have within the ecosystem. You have target ecosystem. You have different service providers ecosystem. What we primarily enable is, whether you're a brand or a 3PL servicing the brand, first connect.
Makes
Able
sense.
to connect to demand channels, right? Now think about the power of the platform. Say a 3PL is providing a solution to a brand, and the brand is connected and is seeing all the order demands. Now I can connect the brands, partners, manufacturers, suppliers to look at the demand in real time. Because demand is today fragmented and everything, right? They can really real time plan what is the demand, where is the demand. Now, once I have established the connectivity across the players, now with just one customer, whether I'm entering a 3PL as a customer, I got a retailer as a user, a manufacturer as a user. If I'm getting a retailer as a customer, I got a 3PL as a user, manufacturer as a user. So one is a customer, other two users are increasing, right? Now I can connect a carrier to find the best way to do the freight forwarding, best way to reach the end customer to deliver.
Exactly.
They can look at the same piece of data, single source of truth. So the communication is established. Established connectivity. Anywhere in the chain you can connect. Now everybody is looking at a seamless real-time communication, working on single source of truth and data in real time. It is not a snapshot of inventory, snapshot of order profile, snapshot. Everything is happening real time, dynamically changing. Now they can collaborate. The data is there. Data is building in the ecosystem. Once I have the data, I can now drive prescriptive decision making. I don't have to rely on one person to make a decision. System will make a decision and think about a seamless coordination. And we have demonstrated it's not like it's a fallacy.
It's not vaporware.
It's no.
Right.
Because we have enterprise customers utilizing this. We have mid-market 3PLs serving their customers. Now, the beauty of this is if I'm serving the 3PL well, they are serving their customers, retailers and brands well. Retailers or brands are approaching us. Can you please help us? Can you become a customer? Because I am another 3PL. I want to deploy this there and I can connect. I want to deploy in my warehouse. So I have everything centralized here in one place. Now the argument would be is, hey, my ERP solves, my data is there. But we all know the ERPs are developed 20 years, 10 years ago, deployed.
This whole ERP conversation, I got to say, like, it is in the 3PL space, the amount of companies that have said, oh, we need an ERP. No, you don't need an ERP. As a 3PL, ERP is going to do nothing for you, right? Like to start with. The ERPs that do exist for the brands, they are dissatisfactory because they weren't designed for this type of environment, right? I think there is such a level of dissatisfaction that you see that it needs to be like what you're talking about, this ecosystem or this. I mean, if we were to be a category creator, let's call it like the brand OS or a 3PL OS, right? That's what you need to be able to like control.
I like that. I'll take it.
No. Don't do that. Because I actually have a little whiteboard where I've written this down. And it's like, here are the things that they need. And there is a blank, like that's where, and yeah, you can take it.
3PL operating system. That sounds
there
like
you go.
Oh my God. Did I just like take the cat out of the bag right on that one? You know, I've been going at it for a while, right? Like trying to like noodle over it.
You gave your free IP out.
Well, we'll collaborate on this at some point, man. Because it is a gap. It is literally a gap out in the market. And I have certain other nuances that I would like to address on top of that as well. Like, if you give the 3PL the branding control from what the customer of the 3PL actually sees, I think the game changes altogether.
That's what we do. We do a white labeling of the solution. We are behind it. That's why you don't see Osa Commerce everywhere, because we play in the background as a white label solution. Ultimately, what we believe is three things. The entire solution and the systems, whatever everybody developing, to solve three purposes. It has to be efficient in cost optimization, efficient to growth over the player in the ecosystem is. It has to cater to all the different risks. Today, cybersecurity is the biggest thing.
Sure.
Especially when you are dealing with multi-enterprise entity, different level of technology maturity, data becoming a very rich and important, prime building blocks for your AI and all the prescriptive decision making. If you put a wrong data, wrong output, right? And that's the reason you need to have that blend. So focusing on data security, data privacy, data technology maturity, cybersecurity threats, focusing on risk, and being very resilient because continuously disruption is happening.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I mean, think about people we used to have disruptions.
Yeah.
But in the past 5 years,
Oh my God.
tell me one podcast or anything you have not talked about disruptions.
Exactly. I mean, we don't use the hashtag at Fulfillment IQ anymore that says hashtag be the disruptor, right? Because the whole thing was, you got to go, pardon my French, but like be the shit disturber. That's the only way you are going to differentiate yourself a little bit, right? Like, I mean, fact of the matter, I mean, we are sitting here right now, truly disrupting the fact that, hey, it's a booth at Modex that's doing a podcast for a company that's in consulting, that's like not really marketing. It's just like having bantering and conversations. I think that is part of disruption. Yeah, you don't have a choice. If we are just going to take another model that exists and copy paste, like I would have thought like baseline Padhu would eventually just build a WMS as an example. And that's not what Padhu did.
We are
right?
more
Like
than
he exactly, right? So, hey, look, our friends are passing by and they won't even look at us. I know. Exactly. Sandeep.
So I think though, to that point, and maybe I had it wrong, I actually lumped Osa Commerce into the WMS fulfillment execution system bucket. And what I'm learning today is that wasn't the right way to be thinking about it. So that might end up being one of your challenges in the market. Like what you've actually put together creates the need for a lot of education, because like you said, it's white space. I haven't seen anyone come from it from both sides, the distribution side and the brand retail side. So is that where you're having to spend a lot of your time is actually like, listen, it's not just about warehouse execution and WMS. I mean, it's solving for both sides.
Exactly.
Like when Tesla launched the car and to educate them about EV and have everybody consume it, initially there was a challenge, right? Same challenge we are facing. We are Tesla of the supply chain today, right? Innovation is a key part of it. We are created a system and a solution, because think about it, right? We created the solution based on what the need was, because we were operators. So the system is built by operators for the operators who are doing very simple. If you have more than one demand channel,
right,
more than one fulfillment sources,
right,
more than one carrier,
right,
across enterprise. Within enterprise is different. Across enterprise, you need a solution which is not existing today, and that is the white space is filled by Osa, focused on connecting, communicating, collaborating, building a better coordination to drive efficiency, risk, and resilient in supply chain.
And orchestration and execution, right?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Visibility, orchestration
yeah,
is part of it, right? Basically, you think about, we are the voice of the supply chain. When I say voice, what does it mean? We provide visibility, we provide integration, orchestration, right? We have connectivity and better execution.
I mean, from an execution perspective, I want to focus on that a little bit, right? But like your expertise, the reason why I've known you is many reasons I've known you, but like one of the things that you go to is like when it comes to a WMS system, you have seen more different flavors than very few people get the opportunity like you do to be able to. And it's not just high level flavors walking through a facility. I'm talking about design level, right?
Right.
Like down to the nuanced of like every exception that could end up occurring inside the four walls of the warehouse. And you have to rack that brain to kind of think it through. But from, you've seen a consumer goods company to a grocery company to e-commerce companies to everything in between that might exist, manual to complete automated warehouses. I would, one of the things I would lean on is like, okay, if Padhu's going to do a WMS, right? Like if we were to like take that modularity, that's something that you would build it as powerful, right?
Correct.
Tell me a little bit more about your philosophy, because with all the experiences you have had, how did you take the approach to building a new kind of WMS that can be used by anyone else, but it also needs to be able to accommodate all of these workflows?
Got it. It's the first fundamental principle we focused on WMS was it is not a four-wall WMS anymore. That was the first myth that we wanted to break, right? Because if we build a WMS, I've been in places where I build WMS optimizing a specific pick flow, the nth degree, right? And saying this is the best optimized. But today, that is completely out of the current round. Reason is because the customer, when is going and shopping, right? Think about if I'm shopping an iPhone, Apple iPhone, an iPhone charger.
Yeah.
I would expect the efficiency is built in, is carried throughout the supply chain, right? Even aspect.
Absolutely.
That changes dynamically as well because people are bundling, people are kitting and everything, right? So the design of WMS should be such a way that based on what the customer is going to order in the e-commerce world or in wholesale world, because things are changing, and that is what my storage and robotics storage should be designed, right? Now, we are automating, we are trying to build a lot of automations and a lot of ability in the inside the warehouse, optimizing it. But once they implement, they find, oh, this order profile doesn't fit. This inventory profile doesn't fit. So you can't produce a throughput. And they would have spent millions and millions of dollars in building that robotic automation system and everything, right? So the fundamental principle is think outside WMS. Don't think outside the four walls.
Yeah.
Don't design a WMS within optimization within your four walls.
Makes
think
sense.
about optimization at the network level
Makes
and
sense.
how that particular piece of puzzle is going to solve. And it has to be from pre-order capture to the end customer delivery. Everything has to be synchronized. And then you design WMS to cater to that need. And that's a big change. That's a fundamental change that we did. And everything else are aligned towards, right? And then how do you want to store the product? How do we do a put away strategy?
How do you take that, like, the reason why complexities exist and implementation time exists is because you need to like do so much configuration or extensibility, whichever way it is, to be able to accommodate the complexities of a WMS, right? Or the operational flow. How do you simplify that?
So if you think about the other way, right? So traditional WMS was built in such a way that you have a static, right? If I'm implementing to a retailer, I have a static product mix. I know the SKU mix. I know the order profile. I'm shipping this many of truckloads every day. In the retail world, I know how many stores I'm shipping. Everything was aligned towards that, right? That still exists. I'm not saying things don't change.
Yeah.
Things are change. Some change, but not too much changes. But in the e-commerce world, with penetration of think about Amazon. Amazon is Amazon is a good example, right? But not everybody can get into Amazon because Amazon provides a great customer service,
100%,
great storage, great network optimization, great fulfillment service, great technology. Everything is great, right? In the 90s, we focused on experience in the stores. Amazon bought in the convenience by getting the product to your doorstep. And now we are focusing on engagement, and Amazon is doing a great job.
Right.
But Amazon also charges you 35 to 45% of your profit, right? I mean, you are basically
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now take that one out. We invest in a technology which can provide you similar to Amazon, but at a lower cost, but more control, and also not giving your product Amazon Basics. You spend a lot of marketing, and the next day you find Amazon Basics copying the exact same product, and you lose a market share, right?
Yeah.
So that was a fundamental principle where we took and said, okay, how do we design something where it builds the efficiency and cost from a end-to-end perspective? Two, the future world is going to change from a complexity because you don't have a static SKU profile, static order profile, static inventory profile. Especially for 3PLs, I am taking your 3PL OS as your trademark here, right? So think of 3PLs. They are moving from a single tenant. They say previously they did multi-tenant. It is logically separated, but now it is going to commingle because of the proliferation of SKUs, the changing in the buying pattern, the complexity in the SKUs, kitting, there are many other aspects, right? People want to bundle and selling a bundle in different way, right? All those complexity. So you have to commingle your inventory, number one.
Yep.
Your inventory positioning and slotting is not static anymore.
Nope.
It's dynamic. It's changing day by day. You want to bring in efficiency in bringing automation. Automation needs more constant feed and dynamic changes. Otherwise, you implement a $6 million goods to person system, it becomes static, then it becomes just a dry storage and not putting any outputs. I have seen many, I've gone through as well from a learning perspective, I can tell you that as an operator, right? So there's a challenge there, right? So dynamic order profile, dynamic SKU, dynamic customer requirements. Some customer wants a different level of service. I want a gift wrap. I want this because e-commerce has changed, right? And from a retail to e-commerce world, the picking function has moved from the customer to the warehouse associate, right? So the training the warehouse associate to complete. So all these factors go in designing a WMS and how we build a supply chain system. And to do that, you need to think globally. And now the future trends. Now trends are changing. Products use is changing. Seasonal aspect is changing. How do you bring all to that together, right? And that all depends on only one thing: single source of data. And that was the second premise. Think outside the four walls. Focus on the supply chain data.
Yeah.
Then everything falls on an aspect, and then continuously focus on how efficient you need to operate it, because it's all linked, right? Whether I'm ordering, prepare the order stage, prepare the orchestration stage, prepare the execution stage, and then finally delivery. And after delivery, think about returns with engagement.
Yeah.
Because you have to engage the customer completely. Customers engaging real-time updates, expecting where my product is. They want to change after making the order, right? They ought to.
That's right. And it's providing that Amazon level value proposition to anyone that's again, I not just like from an OSA perspective, but it has just been a gap in the market. I go back to the example of the amount of companies that I have interacted with or worked with in the past that have basically said there is the promise of, or I'm talking about the larger marketplaces, the larger the big players, right? That have gone and said logistics is hard. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do the rest. But then I'm also going to do a promise to the customer. But the promise is made and then a date is pushed down for execution. That, like, if you take that one little use case, there is such a fundamental flaw. Is on one hand, you are saying, I'm going to do it like Amazon. On the other hand, you are saying, oh, I'm just going to capture a date and then let my logistics do it. Amazon doesn't do it that way. Amazon actually takes into consideration exactly what's going to happen to a level of precision as you press that buy button, or even before you press the buy button. How does that happen? It's that single source of data truth, right? Like in a commerce ecosystem, you would then layer in this capability. You would essentially say, I need to know what my capacity is. I need to know how my performance is. I need to know where my inventory position is. I need to know safety stocks by channel, exact conditions. I need to know how my OMS layer, right, the orchestration layer is going to do with this given order. You take it a level above and now you go, okay, the commerce system, I can make a commitment to a certain degree of confidence that I am going to fulfill that promise. And I think it is, that stack is missing.
Correct.
And it's introducing.
Amazon got that after 20 years,
yeah,
spending billions and billions of dollars.
That's right. Yeah.
And to that level of providing service, they got within an ecosystem, right? What OSA has built in a very short time, learning best because we are the best people, best knowledge, best in the industry, understanding the white space, the gap.
Right.
Solving across ecosystems, across enterprises, right? That's the same thing, what all the parameters, we are able to look at different 3PLs, connect to different level of technology maturity. It's only is possible because, in fact, one of the comments made by the Transportation Secretary, Pete, about that is you bring in data to get more data.
Yeah.
Right. So this primarily the concept is you come into the ecosystem, you automatically share, you unlock the data, because even think from an enterprise perspective, right? Data is blocked into a databases. Say if you make enterprises like $1 billion like a Home Depot or Walmart or Target, anything, they'll implement big systems. All the data is logged inside their own network and databases. Now, somebody wants to optimize and look at better way to deliver. They can't because data is not shared, it's not available, it's in a different methodology, right? Whereas here, you all come in, you're able to share because we're able to look at the entire performance, your orchestration is happening, continuously data is building over a period of time. So we're able to provide better recommendations.
And it's metadata, it's logic, right? Like it's metadata. It's not like here's customer data, right? It's more metadata. Like metadata that you can use to drive intelligence. You can layer in machine learning or other types of capability to be able to. So, I mean, the hypothesis sounds amazing.
Alternate Amazon model.
Yeah.
I love it. I've learned a ton. And maybe one final question before we wrap up. Just because you have this probably view of the market, because you are talking to both sides of the equation on the brand and the distributor or 3PL side. Are you seeing that what we have found is that there are 3PLs that are exceptional at direct-to-consumer fulfillment. There are 3PLs that are exceptional at retail compliance and retail distribution and drop shipping.
Oh, Dan's going there.
And we have found there are 3PLs that are exceptional on value-added service returns, Amazon prep. Are you finding that brands are now trying to look for the best in class in the different channels, as opposed to finding one 3PL that can do all things really, really well?
It's a good question. Before, yes, brands are trying to find somebody can do all in together for them, right? But it's difficult to find. As you said, 3PLs have invested a lot of amount and energy and money and resource to fine tune. I'm the best wholesaler. I'm the best retailer for flow. I'm the best e-commerce flow. And that is where Osa solves the problem for the brand. They come to us. We encapsulate the complexity based on what is their requirement from the inventory and order profile. We automatically plan the inventory management from hosting which facility, distributing based on the cost optimization. We distribute the order. Based on the order, we know exactly which facility is the right facility to fulfill an order. If it's a bulk, go to the bulk facility. If it's e-commerce, get to the e-commerce facility. So we solve that problem for the brand across 3PLs, what challenge they had in building that. And then if it's a big brand, it's say Foot Locker, Dick's Sporting Goods, they may have the big enterprise systems. I'm not talking about them. There are small, medium brands who cannot afford to that level of technology maturity, but still expect the same level of customer service efficiency. So we solve that problem. So from that perspective, they come to us on a technology. We connect seamlessly to all the different providers and then orchestrate it in the best efficient way for both from a cost and a revenue optimization.
It's beautiful. Well,
I'll tell you this. It will never be enough time with Padhu. I can literally tell you, they're literally, we could do a whole series of just like educational sessions, like leave FIQ aside, leave OSA aside, just bantering and talking about. There's a few people in this industry. I'd love for all of us, just to get together and just like chat about these things, because the education's not out there, unfortunately.
One thing I can tell you, FIQ has done a great job. I daily follow almost all the episodes. Very few I might have missed one or two. I was busy traveling or anything, but I made sure that every weekend I spend and wait for this FIQ episodes. This is one of the best channels from education, understanding industry insights, and learning. And that's how again, an ecosystem model, right?
Absolutely.
Learn by sharing.
Absolutely. And I'm glad it's humbling to us that it's working. And hopefully it's not selling, right? Like we don't sell. Like the fact that we use the word FIQ on the podcast, I don't think I've done that in a while. Like fulfillment IQ as a word does not come up. Like it's eCom logistics podcast. It's designed for just education, and we have been having so much fun around it. And it's education.
It's called
for the listener.
Insights and questions.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
And we are getting it as well, right? Like so, this has been. Thank you very much. So it's a good success for us that we got here.
We appreciate those kind words, and maybe as a way of wrapping things up, Padhu, please share with the audience where they could go to learn more about Osa Commerce, where they could go to follow you on social media.
Absolutely. They can go to www.osacommerce.com. We have a great content blogs. Our marketing department, headed by my partner, Ifat Baror, does an outstanding job. And
Ifat is amazing, by the way. Yes.
And then my technology partner, Shlomi Amayal, will also have a lot of blogs on cybersecurity and all those things they can learn. He's expert in that industry. And they can reach out to me at LinkedIn, just Padhu Raman in LinkedIn, or through my email, padhu@osacommerce.com.
Perfect. And we'll put all the links in the show notes to make it easy for everybody.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
As we bring another episode to a close here at Modex, we want to extend our gratitude to GNP Construction for their sponsorship of the podcast. If you're in need of top-notch, all-inclusive material handling solutions for logistics and commercial real estate, look no further than GNP Construction. Be sure to visit GANDPconstruction.com to discover your one-stop shop for turnkey MHE integrations.
Hi, I'm Ninad Acharya, CEO and co-founder of Fulfillment IQ.
And I'm here with
Dan Call, CRO and partner at Fulfillment IQ. We're the team behind the eCom Logistics podcast. Our mission is to provide you with genuine insights from our work alongside logistics leaders to help you improve your supply chain.
In the eCom Logistics podcast, we share the knowledge and the insights we've gained from working alongside amazing brands, retailers, 3PLs, and VCs, so you can make the most out of your supply chain journey.
If you like what you're hearing, we'd truly appreciate your support with a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting channel. Your feedback not only keeps us going, but also helps others find the podcast. If you think Fulfillment IQ can assist you, or if you have an idea related to logistics, just reach out to us on LinkedIn. We're always up for a chat and ready to explore new possibilities together.
Stay tuned to the eCom Logistics podcast on your favorite podcast platform for fresh and practical insights into e-commerce and logistics. Until next time, let's keep making a difference.